cold here, temperatures in the 20s. But let's talk about where it was snowing, where it wasn't so cold. You know, we always do a little weather wisdom for you at 50 past the hour. Today's question comes from Christina. She asks, how does snow form despite temperatures being above 32 degrees? Yeah, it happened yesterday in the South, Christina. So good timing on this question. And this had a lot of you wondering, it's 36 degrees out. How did we get snow in Tupelo, Mississippi? It's 34, 35 degrees out. How are we getting snow in Chattanooga, Tennessee? Well, it has to do with what's happening in the sky above. Think about way up there, how cold it is actually aloft. Cold enough to snow. So the snow begins way up high in the sky, and as it comes down to the ground, if there's enough dry air, not too much, but just enough, it actually can cool the atmosphere enough to allow these snowflakes to make it all the way to the ground. Or if it's heavy enough, the snow itself could help refrigerate the atmosphere a little bit to allow that snow to last all the way down to the ground. The same thing's been happening this morning in the Northeast. We've been watching our radar all morning long, showing snow with temperatures above the freezing mark. New York City, 33 and snowing. Philly, we had snow above freezing. Atlantic City, snow above freezing. But go up high in the sky, I say just 5,000 feet, the temperatures are below 32 degrees. So that's where the snow is beginning. And as it comes through the atmosphere, it comes down towards the ground, and at the surface we've got just a little bit of dry air coming in here. Dew points are in the upper 20s or near 30 degrees, and that dry air mixing in with the moisture that we have causes a little bit of evaporation. Evaporation causes cooling. Think about how it feels when you get out of the shower in the morning. You want to get that water off your skin, right? Because it feels cool. Yes, so evaporational cooling allows the atmosphere to cool enough to get that snow all the way down to the ground, which is what's been happening this morning in the Northeast. What weather do you want to gain some wisdom about? Send us your questions on social media, either tagging AIMHQ or using the hashtag weatherwisdom. We'll answer them every day at 50 minutes past the hour. Start at the beginning, and it's right here across the Southwest. This is where we have a very healthy front, as the Weather Service in Los Angeles called it, coming on through. And by that meaning, it's got a lot of moisture with it. It's pretty strong. We've already had some heavy rainfall. The snow is coming down from the Sierra down into the mountains of California. And we are still getting some showers up here around the Bay Area. Sacramento getting some rain, Monterey. I mean, look, we need rain so badly across all of California. The heaviest of stuff, though, is not going to be up there. It's going to be off to the south. Of course, watching any of the burn scar areas for some flooding. That's something at this point now you always have to worry about, right? And some of this rain has already been heavy. We've seen some street flooding across the area. We've had now more than a ½ inch of rain. Ding, 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 ding. You guys, this is your biggest rainfall since April. And, you know, since October 1st, before we got all this, we had less than at 50 past the hour. We're going to share a little wisdom by answering your questions about the weather. And today's question is, do you think that Tropical Storm Gonzalo could be a threat to the East Coast or maybe even the Gulf Coast? Very timely question with where it's about to track into. So let's talk about where it is right now. First of all, it's about 900 miles away from the islands. And in the short term, yes, it doesn't look maybe as impressive as it did yesterday, but it's got some stuff to overcome in the short term, some dry air right now, and it will have some stronger low-level winds once it makes it through the islands, if it does, right? That would be its area first approach. And then once it gets here into the eastern Caribbean Sea, there's a forecast for some strong low-level winds this weekend, and that happens to be an area known as the Caribbean graveyard or the hurricane graveyard. This is an area that, you know, just in general has some stronger wind shear, a lot of sinking air here, and winds that diverge at the surface, winds that could rip apart a tropical system and make it really hard for a tropical system to either develop here or maintain its strength coming through. Now, you look at the origins in late July across this area. There's only one. Systems just don't form in this region. There's a reason for it. The conditions normally aren't that favorable. So we actually took a look at all of the storms within a 200-mile radius of where Gonzalo is right now in July and tracked them out to see how many of them actually make it through this area. Well, there's only 6 that actually tracked. 3 made it. 3 don't. One of those that made it was Tropical Storm or Hurricane Emily, which ended up being a Cat 5 and then made landfall in Mexico. This system does not look like it's going to do that, but it does have some potential. The European model, these are the tracks of the Euro, keep it further south, don't actually keep it going. But if you look at the GFS and if you look at what the HWRF is saying, it brings it a little farther north and actually has a chance of at least holding it together as a tropical storm. So we will see. We'll keep watching conditions and development. Keep those questions coming on social media, either tagging AIMHQ using the hashtag weather. Oh, how much longer is this going to last here? I can't tell you. If I had a nickel for every time someone said, when is it going to cool down? Well, we still got a ways to go when it comes to the heat. And, well, summer, we have 16 days until the official start of meteorological fall. That's when we switch over to record keeping for fall and summer records end. Yes, but 37 days until autumnal equinox happens. So we got a ways, and a lot, even more than that when it comes to when we're going to see our last 90s of the season. I'm going to show you those numbers because I love to back it up with some numbers. Dallas, for us, it was a late start to get to 100, but then when we got there, we stayed there. We just had 5 in a row, 97 yesterday. So, yes, August has been really, really hot. And you're probably one of the communities asking, all right, how much longer? Well, our average last 100-degree day is August 26th, but our last 90-degree day, this is the one that really matters, right? The last average 90-degree day is actually October 25th. So we got a ways to go here. And it can be later than that. It could be earlier, but it also could be later. Atlanta, it's been a very hot month. Temperatures running well above average. We hit our first 100 in a couple of years. We did that Tuesday this week here in the Atlanta area. So our average last 90-plus day is September the 5th. Doesn't seem that far off, right? But when you think about it, when do you really feel a cool down? You might consider below 80, right? A day in the 70s would be nice. Well, the average last 80-degree day is not till October 18th. 10 minutes left. All right, so we've been asking, Independence Mall looks good. Independence Hall right behind me here. A good time to do some visiting, maybe check out the Liberty Bell, but the skies are going to open up later today. In fact, we think by later on this afternoon and early evening, this will be the scene. The rain will be heavy. It's possible we get some brief ponding of water. The storms will move through quick, so we need to time it out because sometime after dinner, we'll start to see the skies clear out yet again and things will dry up. But let's get you through the timing. I want to show you specifically what we're talking about. There may be a few showers by about 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon. Those are not the ones to worry about. It's actually the thunderstorms that come later than that. 3 o'clock or so when the kids are getting off the bus, Reading, Pennsylvania. 4 or 5 o'clock, now we get these storms going through Montgomery County and King of Prussia. We got thunderstorms blasting into Center City as we get through about 5 or 6 o'clock, right about the peak of the rush hour, right, or soon after. So dinner out tonight, no. I would not get the outside table, and even just trying to dash from your parking spot to the restaurant will be a mess. But these storms are going through quick, and so they'll bring some brief heavy rainfall, but by 7 o'clock, they're already heading east and heading through South Jersey. Let's go to D.C. We'll see some thunderstorms about 3 o'clock or so. Look at that. I mean, this is a forecast radar, but we're expecting some cells to come through that could mean business. And Alex talked about all the risks that we will have, damaging winds and hail, and we will have the risk of some isolated tornadoes. So be ready to get warnings here. But by the way, you saw the rainbow, right, that we shared in D.C. from yesterday. You may get some rainbows again. So there's that. Now, New York City, we've got thunderstorms coming in about 6 o'clock or so, blasting through northern Jersey. If this is the route your commute takes you home, get home early so you can avoid these thunderstorms. They will make a mess of the drive. And then coming through and moving over Long Island and up towards southern Connecticut as we get to about 7 o'clock. But then by 8 or 9 o'clock, they're out of here, right? Things are moving quick and moving through. Some brief heavy rainfall possibility. Albany will see that about 3 o'clock or so. But then, watch storms coming in, blasting in by about 5 or 6 o'clock.